it's something like this. Well, yeah, you know where that little white church is on Main? Yeah, down at the end? All the way at the end. Well, don't go that far. Women use tag questions, for example. This is a good report, don't you think? See how it sounds like I'm asking permission to think that it's a good report? Whereas the masculine style would be, good report. See the difference in power? See, and gentlemen, you need to understand, for detail-oriented people, details to women is like beer to you. And I've heard it said this way. When a man loses his temper in the office and yells, it's viewed as taking control. When a woman loses her temper in the office and yells, it's viewed as losing control. Women don't mind asking for help. They'll pull over every 2 blocks if they have to. They make new friends. They find people to talk to that way. Men tend to make decisions independently. Remember, they're programmed for superiority and independence. Women make decisions by consensus, so they see men not asking for opinion and think, wow, he doesn't respect my opinion. He doesn't care what I think. That's not true. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. No, I'm exaggerating, but men bond through tasks and activities. Sports, working on the car, building something. So women, your husband comes in from a golf game, let's say. How was the game? Fine. What'd you talk about? Nothing. He's serious. And even if they did talk about something, he doesn't remember what. And you think to yourselves, how can you call these guys your good friends? You never talk about anything. Because that's the way you bond. But that's not the way men bond, and they feel just as close to their buddies as you do to yours. It's just a different style of bonding. Just a different style of bonding. And women don't talk too much. They just talk more than men. Women are such active listeners. They're so involved. It's like low-impact aerobics. Oh my gosh! Oh, wait till I tell Helen. Oh, I can't believe this. All this activity going on, you know she's listening. But women have that style, so they see men just sitting there like logs and think, well, he's not listening. Or he just doesn't care. He's not responding. Not necessarily true. Now, you've got to pick your moments. Don't start a deep conversation when a guy's watching sports. I mean, if I'm really engrossed in a good book, I can't hear anybody. Somebody has to tap me on the shoulder to get my attention. It's the same thing. So pick your moments. But men, use a little feedback, a little active listening to let somebody know that you're there, that you're present. Same thing with direct and constant eye contact. See, that's a programming thing. Way back when, and still sometimes today, direct and constant eye contact between men was a sign of aggression. And oftentimes men misunderstand and misinterpret constant and direct eye contact from women as flirting. So when they're uncomfortable for any reason, whether it's aggression or flirting, they avert their eyes, so women think you're not listening, or that men are avoiding connection. I notice now, when I'm talking with a man, I can start to see when he's wondering where I'm coming from. And then I'll avert my eyes, unless I'm flirting. It's very difficult for men to ask for help because they've been programmed for superiority and independence. Now, what comes to mind when I say that? Yes! Directions. Yeah. All right, it goes something like this. No. Okay, now I can figure out where we are. Let me see. All right, there's the North Star over there. Women don't mind asking for help. They'll pull over every 2 blocks if they have to. They make new friends. They find people to talk to that way. Sure. All right, now let's be fair. Let's talk about giving directions. Usually when a man gives you directions, you know exactly where you're going. Go south on Broadway, east on Main, 2 blocks on the right, boom, you're there. Whatever. Women, however, are more verbal, remember, more detail-oriented, and more visual. So maybe it's something like this. Well, yeah, you know where that little white church is on Main? Yeah, down at the end? All the way at the end. Well, don't go that far. How about this one? I got this one time. Well, yeah, before you get there, now you're going to feel like you want to go right. What is that? Well, it's like, But you know what? I trusted her. I thought, okay, there's going to come some place where I'm going to feel like I want to go right and I'm not supposed to. I'll just know it when I get there, I guess. Men tend to handle conflict directly. Remember, they are programmed for superiority and aggression. Whereas women tend to avoid and fear conflict unless they feel 100% safe in a situation, like in a really good marriage. A good example of this, one of my sisters is assistant administrator of a hospital in San Antonio. Her name is Kathy. A patient turned in a complaint on a nurse that reports to Kathy. So Kathy had the nurse follow the protocol of filling out this 2-page report. Kathy sent it up to her boss, the administrator. It came back in interoffice mail the next day with a note on it, a Post-it note that said, "What does this say?" Kathy wrote on it, "Nurse did bad. Nurse told if she does bad again, she's fired." Sent it back up. Didn't hear another word. That's all he wanted to know. That's all he wanted to know. Women are much more programmed for monogamous relationships because it meant survival to them, whereas men at that time were more programmed to go out and keep the species going and procreate. Gentlemen, we no longer need to do this. All right? Do not use this as an excuse. There are plenty of human beings on the planet now. All right? Yeah, no. Women are more programmed for consensus and harmony and avoiding conflict. Remember, if he left, if she made him mad and he left, she might die. Plus, she wanted to keep peace with all the children. Consensus, harmony, avoiding conflict. Women were responsible, again, for raising children, gathering fine seeds and grain. They have more of an attention to detail and fine motor skills. Now, I had just explained this and waved my arm talking at one of my programs and knocked a glass of water all over my presentation. And I heard this decidedly male voice in the back say, "Well, so much for fine motor skills." I said, well, I'll have to agree with you on that one. Absolutely. Strong verbal and social skills because, again, they're raising families, maintaining relationships. And the same thing for highly developed intuitive and people-reading skills. Women discuss decisions. They make decisions by consensus. They ask people for their opinion because they want people to feel valued and involved. They may know exactly what they want to do. They just want people to feel part of the team. Men watch this, who are used to making decisions independently, and think, wow, she can't even make up her own mind. She's really indecisive. She's insecure in her own decisions. She's not going to be a good manager. It's just a style difference. Women like to include people. Let's do this. Well, how about if we do this? Now listen to the difference. Do this. This is how we're going to do it. See the difference in power perception of those statements? So men hear this softer style and it seems weak to them. And they think, well, she's not going to be good management material. You know, it's just so wishy-washy and vague. It's just that it's been beat into women's head not to hurt anybody's feelings and not to come across too direct and harsh, so she's just smoothing out the conversation. It's a style difference. I think that it's wonderful that we're different from each other. How boring would it be if we were all alike? It'd be like a bunch of little robots running around, a little E.T. Martian people. Let's celebrate that we're different. The key is to understand and be aware of what those differences are so we can work together better and get along better, that's all. I love it that men are different than I am. I think it's really important to celebrate that we're different, just have the right attitude about it. Be aware of our differences, inside and out. Try to understand and respect what each is all about. Nature and nurture gave us quite disparate ways of talking and behaving, and they cease to amaze. But differences aren't wrong, right, bad, or good. Just delightful diversities to be learned and understood. So be positive and fair and put offense aside. Let flexibility and good intentions be your trustworthy guide. Everyone just wants to be appreciated and valued, so love them all and bring peace to our gender feud. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.